Hey guys, it's Jet888 here. It's October 13th. It's a Thursday. There's so much to show here. So let's see. I'm going to show a little bit of this page. I'd like to talk a little bit about this information here, Automatic Identification Systems, AIS, Collection and Reach Back System. And I'll leave the link for this document as well. I found it on the archive.org, but I'm just going to be looking at that. Look at that, ACRBS. You could look at that as crabs, but I'm going to dive into this a little bit. This is by the Defense Technical Information Center, and it's really about tracking people. And I'm going to look at this page too. Let's start here. I really started looking at this on October 11th. So I looked at the date October 11th, and it says, here's your proof and surveillance. And I looked at the anagram of Trust the Science, and it's hectic, reset nuts, which I think a lot of us can agree on that. I look at the anagram for climate change, and I came up with technical game and chemical agent. Also came up with thence magical. That could also be the, what is it, sin, spelled with C-E-N, the sin, the magical sin, if you want to play with words, since this is the word series. Okay, so when I looked at this document here, it is how many pages? 62 of 52 pages. I haven't even gotten really past the first handful of pages here, but Automatic Identification Systems, that's AIS. So I looked at AIS because AI kind of remind me of little things that are going on right now. And what I was doing here is, let me look at, I'll show you this. So executive summary, it says, the AIS collection on reachback systems, ACRBS, project addresses a critical shortfall in the Military Sealift Command, MSC, ability to securely obtain and share MSC ship position data and automatic identification system reports. So it kind of just showed me that it was about tracking and tracing. And this says the ACRB's unit on board MSC ship ingests AI's data from all surface contacts within AI's range, that's the VHF, and the global positioning system, we're pretty familiar with that, the GPS, position of the host MSC ship. Now, when I looked at this, I'm thinking, okay, we're probably thinking it's a ship, but we could be considered a host MSC ship. The AI's data, I guess I should say AIS data, and GPS position are merged. They're merged. The data and the position are merged and treated at the classification level of the MSC GPS report. This will either be unclassified, confidential, or secret, depending on the mission. The ACRBS sends the merged streams via Iridium satellite. When I think of satellite, I think of Elon Musk for some reason. Modem to a receiving ground station. I'm going to show you a visual of this. So they go to receiving ground station where they are packetized and transported via the Defense Information System Network. That's DISN. Now, when you look at that word DISN, what does that remind you of? Think about that for just a second. Now I'm going to continue. So they go to the Information System Network to the collection point. The data is delivered in a format that can be ingested by the shore-based software application to process and display the data, e.g. over the horizon. Somewhere over the rainbow. Let's see, OTHG format used by GCCSJ. Do you like the way they abbreviate all those things? So I just wanted to look into this a little bit more. So this says Automatic Identification System is an automatic tracking system that uses transceivers on ships. You can be a ship or your vehicle or your car and is used by vessel traffic services when satellites are used to receive AIS AIS signatures. The term satellite AIS is used. AIS information supplements marine radar, which continues to be the primary method of collision avoidance for water transport. Right, water transport and collision avoidance. So here's an overall scheme of it. ABC, isn't that interesting? ABC. So look at this. EXactAIS or AISTrax. Look at that logo. And that's not on my desk. Those are little stars they put there. So EXactAISTrax. So there's the top SpaceX, and that's Elon Musk, and then the EXactAISTrax, which I haven't looked to see who owns that. But look to the left here, it goes to global satellite coverage, and it says ABC, ABC or ABSEA, but if you could read that as ABC, like the alphabet group, the alphabet as in Google. Remember Lawrence Page, and I think it's Sergey Brin, who also owns Alphabet Inc. Lawrence Page does. So Alphabet, and you got the ABC there. So isn't that interesting? But you have all these towers communicating or transporting this information to the identifiers. They look like it's all in ships, but this can just as easily be over the land. So you have these AIS transmissions, which are using your GPS. They go to these cell towers, which goes to the central database. From the satellite, they're coming into the ground station, going to the central database, and look up to your local control rooms. You could look at that as LCR, and that could be Kobe, App, Magic, among other things, with the numbers being 33, 198, 103. So just quickly, when I look at this for Gematria local control rooms, right off the top, we see God's only name, false reality, fake system, Ray God's info, and soul contract. For the simple Gematria, it's the real Jesus Christ, Ray's God's eternal light. Oh, and speaking of light, remind me to show you something that the Queen shared with everybody. So anyhow, just for an overview of what the AISTrax is. Oh my goodness. So they identify you, they transmit you to the coast station, which goes to ground station, or here to the central database, which then goes up to the local control rooms. Remember those operating systems that Moderna has, that they've needle crafted into people's bodies? Which, if I have time, we'll look at this later. Speaking of tracking and robotics and information relays. So they talk about data flow, and anyhow, I just want to look at their abbreviations and try to read between the lines. Encryption from the ship side to the shore-based collection platform. Anyhow, let's start looking at this. So this is pretty much what I just showed you. See, there's their relay, or I'm sorry, their satellite, Iridium satellite. It goes into the DoD, Department of Defense, Iridium gateway, black server, red server, classified Ethernet, unclassified Ethernet, unclassified RF. Is that radio frequency? So basically it just shows you where all and how all the information is, what the steps it goes through. The black server. So with this, I just wanted to look at these abbreviations, AIS, collection and reachback system. So when you look at that, when I see that word, it says crabs, CRABS, like under the sea. Remember The Little Mermaid? It's Hans Christian Andersen. It says the story follows the journey of a young mermaid who is willing to give up her life in the sea as a mermaid to gain a human soul. I wonder if they're talking about AI. So looking at gematria, and you can join me on this gematria if you go to right there, if you want to go play along, gematrix.org. So here it is, the numerology there, 176 all the way down to 43. And when the Bible tells you not to play or look at numbers, I think they just didn't want you to decode how the people were rewriting everything. So you know how Disney did the Under the Sea thing. So, and they used Ariel, or Ariel was her name. It could be E. Liar. And here's the little crab guy. And here he is looking guilty and shameful because he's lying. And here's their little 3 ears down there. But it's abracadabra, Bible code name, mark, goat, plan, and LIV, like the Super Bowl LIV. Those all have the 43 as their simple gematria, and the 258 is the English. When I look at Ariel, it's also Poseidon, which is poisoned, snakes, great game, lockdown, and serpent. And this says, this Wikipedia, you know how they are, Wikipedia, it says Ariel is an angel found primarily in Jewish and Christian mysticism. Skipping down, the literal meaning is lion of God. When I looked at Under the Sea, one of my main things, there's the lights array. That's Ophiuchus, Raymond Day, the Master Ray. That's Master Ray. That's what I kind of focused on. I'm going to jump to a couple things regarding Super Bowl. So this was a logo that they had out, the Super Bowl, and it's with Pepsi, which is also pipes. And if you notice on each side, there's a big speaker, one on the left, one on the right. See, that doesn't let that look like a speaker. But this was on top of the Empire State Building, which I think is interesting because the Empire State Building has a beacon, and for some reason YouTube deleted one of my videos covering the beacon and the King Kong on the Empire State Building, and that's a whole nother thing that's I connect the gorilla or the ape to Elon Musk. But see, there's the Super Bowl with the Empire State Building, and Super Bowl is superb owl, and you've got the speakers and you've got the pipes, which is Pepsi, which is also is pipe. Sorry, I mean pipes. And so 48 is also connected with Levi and its. Well, Levi can also be evil, and we'll get into the Levi later, but ITS also, so ITs. And this specific Super Bowl with Seattle Seahawks. Remember ABC, AB, and then SEA? So that seems to be one of their themes. And this was February 2nd, 2014. So you have the 2 as in February, 2 for the beginning of the 2014. And the market share of 69 will also come into play. But when we simply take the 48 for the Roman numeral, in gematria it equals matrix, storm, blackout, and Artemis. And Artemis is, I've connected that to, you know, the launch, that rocket launch recently from NASA. But the February 2nd, that would be 2-2, is also equal to the local control rooms. And remember Pepsi's, that logo, the red, white, and blue with the circle. When I looked at that with gematria, it's 1458. One of the first things, well, the first word that comes up is Crowley, and also power outage. The biodiversity might come into play later as well. It's also ray hidden pattern, along with some decoding words. And 182, which is the simple gematria for red, white, and blue circle, is the storm is here in Rothschild's banks. And beast out of the sea. And there's also Planned Parenthood, so we're talking little eugenics here as well. And also Planned Parenthood, if you look at the Assembly Bill, let's see, what's the number, 2223? That's all about being able to kill your baby. It's a 30 days or younger baby you can kill. 30 days after birth, no questions asked. That's on the Governor Newsom's desk right now. Okay, so I went and I wanted to look at the Defense Information System Network, which is abbreviated as DISN. When I looked at the anagram for Defense Information System Network, it was Disney Meta Storm works off 19. And 19, when you look at this, and I covered this a while ago when you looked at SpaceX and COVID-19, the 19 also equals AI, because 1 is A and 9 is I. So I looked at this MetaConnect later, but they had this meeting October 11th, a couple days ago. They had a live meeting regarding this, and I'll show you about that later. But looking at DISN, it ends up being Rock, Elon, Who, as in who's trying to change all of our health sovereignty, Soul, and Radiance. It's also mRNA, which I think we're being needle crafted to death with that one. And DAN, or Daniela, which is a DNA lie if you look at the anagram. Now this is all kind of messed up here, so bear with me, but when I looked at 19 in gematria, it came up with dots and affliction, and also PE, beam, and there's some more, hang on. Let me come back to 19. 19's a big thing for them. You see that, the COVID-19. It's interesting too, because 19 is satanic, so go figure. AI, if you look at just 19, it's AI and it's satanic. We all know about January 6th, Capitol Hill there, Ashley Babbitt. She's also equivalent to 19. So 244 is the numerical equivalent to 19, and so is the mask. And so is Soros, who owns a big chunk of stock in Tesla. So just kind of wondering, what does Disney have to do with this whole thing? So Disney Metastorm works off 19, so off AI. Look, I've got an extra E in there. That's better. Don't you love anagrams? So Disney. So this little headline also says Disney 100, Disneyland making some big changes for its upcoming anniversary celebration. And they show this weird picture that has just almost, the colors are just too bright. Have you guys been noticing the on your TV, if you're watching Netflix or whatever, the greens are just super green. Like if you're watching football, the greens are just crazy, too bright, not real looking colors. But anyhow, I looked at this El Capitan, wanted to see what that was about. And when I came up with the anagram for that, it's PE location, and I was looking at PE. Most of us think of physical education as in maybe football, but PE is also equivalent to beam. They both have 21 as their simple gematria, so beam. And PE is also the 17th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So when you look at that, 17 spelled out, 17, there's your 9-9. It's also 10-9. I'm seeing a lot of weird 10-9 connections, but 17 is heaven's reign, new world order, our favorite thing right now. Take the needle craft and COVID corona. Isn't that weird that that just happens to be kind of related? When you look at 17, also the number 17, when you look at the middle there, 102, if you flip that around, that's 201, that's your John Hopkins, and it's GAI, kind of like it could be God AI, which is also equivalent to FBI or fib, if you flip that around, fib, as in Ariel, as in Eliar. When I go back and look at this document about the AIS collection and reachback system, AIS is also 100, which is Disney, what they're celebrating now. And they're going to be making some big changes. But all these words here are equivalent to 76, and that's Disney, which is also equivalent to vaccines. Mr. Cochet had that keeps coming up, that name, so I'm going to keep looking at it until I figure out what it really means. And the BioNTech, and 76 is also AIS Wi-Fi in their simple gematria. So Disney has some interesting connections. 76 also happens to be BlackRock, Red Pill, Master, Titanic. It's also Our Father, Biblical God, Bible Codes, Ripple. It's got a lot of things going on there. BlackRock is a big one. It's also The Plan and Not a Game, which is also Magatone or Maganote, the anagram. Getting a little darker here. Not a Game is Magatone, Maganote, To Manage, Amen, Goat, and Eat Among. Oh yeah, and remember the whole Empire State Building Super Bowl thing with the speakers? When I looked at the word speakers, notice those 3 bars also. You'll see that a lot with electronic stuff. You'll see the 3 bars. But speakers is also Samsung, Microchip, Skynet, and 6-9. And the whole Skynet thing, it says, you know, that whole story about the Terminator and all that. Remember, John Connor was one of the characters. So I looked at John Connor, and it's No Corn John. So get your seeds ready. So the Skynet with the Terminator thing, I looked at the Cyberdyne Systems, and that, sorry about my camera work or lack of, Cyberdyne Systems is Buy Messy Reset, CDYN, and I went to look at what CDYN was. It could be CDNY, like New York, DC, New York and DC, but I went to look at CDYN. Here's one thing, Dynamic Compliance Calculation. That's one thing. Oh, medical app for the iPhone. And what is CDYN power? Dynamic capacitance of a gate. Which is that? Let's see. It's switching energy. Here's a study they did regarding frequencies, and CDYN, literally like the frequencies make this horse. The study was on horses with heaves. So it's a breathing thing, forced oscillation. Anyhow, it's a breathing situation with frequencies. See, as the hertz go up, the horses have a harder time. They talk about CDYN decreases steadily with increasing frequency. And look down here, a confounding variable in this study was introduced by the use of a face mask. Confounding, that makes it worse. Face mask. Jumping back up to that Meta, the Meta Connect, you know, that's Facebook, the Meta Connect. Look at that guy. And I'm going to go show you what I found at this thing called Recon, but Meta Connect. I call it Meet Connect, and it's a booster, Kobe Bryant, because Kobe Bryant, one reason, at the event 201, they mentioned the fringe, and the fringe, when you look at that, the gematria numerical equivalent was also Black Mamba, which is Kobe Bryant's nickname. And Black Mamba, to me, looks like a big, like a telephone wire. Anyhow, and also Kobe Bean Bryant, and Bean is Bane, and Bane is like a destroyer, but there's also Apocalypse, which just means the revealing. So information is being revealed, and it's also microchip. Imagine that. I'm going to jump back up to the DISN and looking at the rock, because I think most of us know the black rock. I wanted to look further into that. So rock has a numerology with 47, so I'm going to be looking to the right with the simple gematria, looking to the right. A lot of things connect in my mind anyhow. Radio, the Wi-Fi, and I'm just looking off of the number 19 being AI. So to me this connects. So radio, Wi-Fi, banks, which if you don't have some cash now, you better get it. Bull, obey, Kong, as in King Kong and the Empire State Building, force, which is they couldn't have anything without their force behind them, and rock. It's also beast and time. And remember that little TikTok thing with the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland? That there's more into that. Look at the chain for China or whatever. There's a lot more going on with Alice in Wonderland than just entertainment. Oh yeah, and regarding this is how I also got over to here. This is from the Disney's 100th anniversary, where they say that some big changes are upcoming. When I look at the PE location, it kind of reminds me of just being tracked and stuff. So I looked at PE, and when I looked at that, I saw all these little red round dots, but they have all these kids. It says PE rocks, as we looked at all the rocks, which is radio, Wi-Fi, banks, just all that stuff. But they have this freaky little diagram showing these little kids, self-expression, motor skills. Isn't that funny? Why isn't this focusing? Cooperation, motor skills. The kid, this blonde kid's fallen, can't get up. Oh gosh, game strategy. Is he on his phone? No, I don't think so. Just looking at the word Wi-Fi, if you just look at the numbers, here's your 900, and then you have the 969, and when you add all this up, when you just look at all the nines and stuff, you flip everything upside down, because that's what they do. Here's your Wi-Fi is also 969. Also the word map. Oh, Wi-Fi is X marks the spot, which is violent, and map. These all have the same numerology in here. And map, again, is AI with the 19. It's 91, but you flip it around, it's 19. There's your AI. And map is also amp, as in the power behind the frequencies. Map is also arc, Noah, which spelled wrong, but Noah, and famine. So there's your AMP. Remember your AMP market? And that's 30. So 30 is also map and amp. And the AMP, same thing as the famine, is let's see, date. Remember this guy is late for a very important date. Map and pi. Remember Gates? I mean, they made a big deal about that. Look at that. They covered this a lot. Pied. I've covered it a lot too. So the guy took one for the team. And these dots reminded me of this document that I read, and I'll leave you the link. So these are notes from the Celeste Solemn, former 20-year-old FEMA officer, created this summary. So it tells us all about the mechanical tooling, robots, and I'm telling you, this is concerning if you want to look at stuff. And you see the pylons and calipers? Let me go look at that real quick. I'll show you what this, so much symbology, is that the word, symbolism behind all this? You know what, I'm running out of time. I'm going to do the caliber in my next one. So this is going to be the word 3, and my next one will be the word 4. But I wanted to look at this MetaConnect real quick, and it says MetaConnect October. And when I looked at the MetaConnect October, the anagram is recon, combat, tone, etc. So the tone, which are the frequencies, which they've been showing us here with the speakers. It means Samsung, Microchip, Skynet, 6.9, and Goodyear. That's a whole nother thing. But since I'm running out of time, again, I'm going to have to pick it up again another video. But looking at this, took me to this, Recon, the Fetish Network, and that's part of the Meta Connect in October. And Recon is a community that enables fetish guys to explore their fantasies online at our events and on their own terms, which, remember the Aleister Crowley, do what thou wilt. And when I look at the Fetish Network and you see all this wire stuff going on, which looks like it could be just connections, the Fetish Network is the Bill Gates Foundation, same numerology exactly. And this is going to take me to this, the Levi Strauss, and this is a big dive, and it's weird, but this guy here, when I looked at him, he was familiar to me because I saw him in another ad. He has the same kind of marking. Now they could have used makeup to change it, but in this Levi Strauss, this ad with Kith, here's all these people lining up. All their hands are in their pockets. I don't show it, but they're all in their pockets. They've all got their brand of their Levi Strauss. It has a little bit of like a wing, like the eagles, and I'll show that in my next video. But it looks like this same guy with his whole Recon Fetish Network is also modeling for the Levi Strauss, which is evil. Because remember Levi Strauss, the blue jeans, the 501 blue jeans, artificial intelligence, all that's 501, smart people, smart, not intelligent, but smart as in the technology, artificial intelligence, Golden Gate, which is Levi Strauss's in San Francisco, Holy Bible, and blue jeans, like eugenics, blue jeans, think elite. So here's just a few pictures that they have on their site. You've got this symbol of the Baphomet head, which is the same as that. Basically, the same symbolism. Gosh, what's my problem? And one of these guys on this site wearing a mask, this bondage attire, also has fox gloves on. Fox. So think about the networks and media. Same Fetish Network here, the Kilt. They also talk about a Tickle Fest and Bizarre Rubber Shop. I'll cover more later. But here's the Recon, the whole under the sea kind of logo. And this was at a Dark Lens, Antwerp, Belgium, which this whole Recon fetish thing. And when I look at the word Dark Lens, it's child sacrifice, Genesis, Apollyon, connected, tracking, Chronos, crocodile is in the Disney, TikTok, 99, charity in Hebrew, Father God, WWG,